Welcome to NFL Primetime, presented by E-Trade.
And welcome, everybody, to a Wild Card Sunday NFL Primetime. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, stop laughing. Trent Dilfer, stop laughing. We kind of gave it, I think, for the holidays, a month to calm down, right?
Yes.
Let Christmas, let New Year's happen. We tried to explain all this about a month ago, gave it a hiatus. We're back at it. I can't wait to hear you guys.
We're back at it in a big way.
We are back
in a big way. Historic.
I can't wait to hear you either, Tom.
The playoffs are officially upon us. After a group of games in which, when push came to shove, the home team had their way with the road team, then there was the fourth one. Would Mile High Magic with Tim Tebow amazingly continue for the 8-8 Denver Broncos, the winners of the AFC West? Or would the defending AFC champion Pittsburgh Steelers, with a hobbled Ben Roethlisberger, with a roster that seemingly every series would lose another player, but a 12-4 battle-tested Steeler team, would they succumb to what some of the league had succumbed to during the middle of the season, toward the end of the year, or did the clock strike 12 for Denver? Here we go from Mile High in a game that you weren't sure would it be close or not. But how would Ben play? How would Tim Tebow play the Broncos off 3 straight losses? Tebow looking for Demaryius Thomas after Pittsburgh had totally controlled. You wondered whether Denver would ever get a first down. It was 2 field goals, squeeze them, and it was 6-0. But 51-yard. And then Eddie Royal. So all of a sudden, first quarter looked like, uh-oh, here we go again. But now they're pulling the trigger, fellas.
And a great throw by Tim Tebow. Great route by Eddie Royal. A little inside post move. Goes vertical, and Tebow drops in the dime.
So 7-6, all of a sudden, Denver. Now Denver again after their defense playing well. Tebow, Demaryius Thomas. It's it's 58 yards.
Yeah, Demaryius Thomas all day long. Look at him get open there. Little stutter move. This ball's thrown early. Demaryius Thomas catches it and then goes to work after all day long, run after the catch.
So no receiver had a 100-yard game against them all year, and now in the playoffs they do it on Tebow in the end zone for a touchdown. 14-6 Broncos? Now, Denver's defense hasn't played with a lead very often in the last month. So what happens? Robert Ayers had a big game, a sack of Ben Roethlisberger, whose mobility obviously hampering him.
Yeah, but great job of this defensive front, collapsing the pocket from the outside, nowhere to step up, and you can see Ben was a little bit hurt.
Next play over the middle, and that is Quentin Carter, who's playing only because Brian Dawkins is hurt. And Carter with the pick all the way out of the Steeler 19. My goodness, this tide has turned. Under a minute to go. On the snap, remember, Pouncey, the center, not playing. That's Bronco Legursky, who did start in the Super Bowl but snaps it over his head. Heath Miller falls on it. It's 20-6, Denver at the half. Now, Ben looking for the screen to Mike Wallace, but it's, wait a minute, it looks like a lateral.
Yeah, clearly, as you look at it, the ball is going to be released right around the 19. When it lands, it is on about the 18. That's a lateral. However, whistle blown, they're going to rule that play to be incomplete.
So first they thought it challenged, and you couldn't challenge it. Pittsburgh gets extra help, and Antonio Brown, the end around for 18 yards. Now the Steelers down 2 touchdowns on the move. Later in the drive, late third, Isaac Redman, remember playing? Because Mendenhall's out. And he's in the end zone, they think, for a touchdown, but every score gets reviewed, and we take another look, and he's down right there before he gets in.
The correct call, you can see his knee come down, ball's at the half-yard line.
Next play, Mike Wallace, we give it on the quick scoot to the receiver, and now it's 20-13. Next Denver drive, Tebow firing to Thomas, but a pass interference on Ike Taylor, and here's some contact. Refs had an interesting game,
Well, you know, there's some amount of contact there. I guess it's a good call, but again, during the playoffs, I'd like to see them let the players play.
It would lead to a field goal, though. It's 23 13, now 23-16. Willis McGahee up the middle, but it's a fumble. And with 8 minutes to go, it's a fumble. John Fox would challenge, but good call. Ball out, fellas, before he's down.
Ball is out, and this is the break the Steelers needed at this moment of the game to get back in it.
Now ensuing drive. Redmond up the middle for 1 and first down. Second, 2 plays later. Redmond to the right side for another Pittsburgh Steeler first down. Then Roethlisberger to Mike Wallace. Tick, tick, tick. Oh, Champ Bailey, was one of the best to ever play the position, almost picks it off. Timeout. Pittsburgh, under 4 to go. Ben, scrambling, firing. Jericho Cotchery. It's a touchdown, and we're tied at 23.
How about the play by Ben Roethlisberger? Hobbled on the ankle, understands the gravity of the moment, doesn't care about the pain, goes back to his fastball. That's extending the play, getting on the move, and delivering the strike to Cotchery in the end zone.
So now, the Broncos, Tebow warming up. It's their ball in 2nd and 8. 2-minute warning. Tim, buying time. This is the guy you've seen in the last 5 minutes, but the Eddie Royal incomplete. Wait a minute, and did he grab the face mask? That's Lamar Woodley.
Lamar Woodley grabbed the face mask. It wasn't called, but again, Tebow showed his ability to extend the play.
Now, Tim, firing, and misses Thomas, and the Broncos will punt. Pittsburgh ball. How many times have you seen Ben Roethlisberger deliver here? Minute to go. Ben. Antonio Brown voted the Steeler MVP this year for his receiving and his kick returning 17 yards. Now to Emmanuel Sanders. 18 yards are at the 45. Next play. Coverage. Elvis Dumerville knocks it up, but Big Ben falls on it. Take another look. Elvis in the building.
Yeah, from Louisville. Knocks the ball out. Ben, the awareness to go back and get it. Otherwise, scoring opportunity for the Broncos.
Or scoring opportunity Steelers, but they lose 11 yards. Now 4th and 14, 3 seconds to go. You're looking for Hail Mary. Robert Ayers with the sack. And we go to overtime, and now there's new overtime rules. We didn't have them last year because we didn't have an overtime game. If you win the toss and you get the ball first and you score a touchdown, you win. But anything else continues the game. Who wins the toss? Who would win the toss? All right, let's flip it. Let me tell you what happened. Denver won the toss, kicked through the end zone, and now the very first play, they're going to run it right. No! It's Demaryius Thomas, and he could go all the way. One play from scrimmage, 80 yards, touchdown, Broncos. Tebow, a touchdown pass to Thomas. The Denver Broncos, in scintillating fashion, win it 29-23. John Elway said fire it. They fired it. Tebow 10 of 21 for 316. And the Broncos have beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers. Much like last year, the you gotta be kidding me NFC West champ Seahawks beating the defending champ Saints, knocking them out of the playoffs. The you gotta be kidding me AFC West champs Broncos knocking the defending AFC champion Pittsburgh Steelers out of the playoffs in the last game of the wild card round. Tim Tebow, previous 3 games, losses. Forget the completion percentage, still under 50%, 10 of 21. But he threw for 316. And after a first quarter we wondered if they'd ever get a first down, he threw for a bunch in the second quarter, and of course, 80 yards coming in overtime on the final play. So, the Denver Broncos busting through. Here they go. Now they go on to play New England. They played within the last month and lost.
Oh, my goodness.
Look, we saw Tebow, Roethlisberger. The first quarter, look, forget it. Second quarter, then Pittsburgh couldn't do anything right defensively. Your turn first, because I think you played there, Tom, 14 years.
Yeah, I thought that they did a lot of things so well today. Balancing the offensive attack, the defense finally came up with the pressure from the guys up front once they got the lead, as Boom said. But, you know, the storyline today is all about Tim Tebow. And John Elway asked him to pull the trigger. I think challenged him to make the throws downfield, to put the pressure on the opposition by being able to complete passes, not only in situations where you had 3rd and long, but in situations where you wanted to throw sometimes on the early downs. And Tim did an outstanding job of doing that, threw for over 300 yards on only 10 completions. But this is an amazing effort for him. And I said this morning that this was important to his future as the Broncos went forward. Well, he just delivered in a big, big way for the Denver Bronco football team.
Talk about responding when the pressure is squeezing you, right? All week long with Denver Broncos, right? We're hearing about Brady Quinn possibly playing. You know, we're hearing about, hey, Tebow's proven the last couple weeks he can't do it. And imagine that pressure that Tim Tebow was facing within the organization, where just a few weeks ago he was looked at almost as a deity within the organization. Now all eyes were on him. We can't win a playoff game with him. And he responds in those conditions and comes out and plays by far his finest football of his NFL career. It speaks volume of the person. And I know we always go back to the person when we're talking about Tim Tebow, but this is a great example. The bigger the moment brings out the best in Tim Tebow.
And the team, just to continue one moment, the team certainly is going to respond to that. The football team saw this. They understand the kind of pressure that Trent is talking about. They understand what Tim Tebow's listening to, not only all week. Some of us were saying it this morning. I doubted that he had the ability to do what we just saw. He comes out, he challenges everybody by delivering in the biggest moment of his career as a pro. This is an amazing night for Tim Tebow.
We're kidding going into the highlights, and we'll talk Pittsburgh here in a moment, who in so many ways played gallantly and valiantly. It's as if we put for a month, and I'm not kidding, all the things we were trying, everybody was trying to explain. They won 7 of 8, the 3 of them in overtime, so many of them of the miraculous variety, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then, always progressing as a passer, the Broncos offense is evolving even more from the way they were at the middle of the year. And then all of a sudden for 3 games, now we're going backwards in this. And now all of a sudden it's as if, put those 3 weeks over here on the shelf. This is what we were building for towards when they're on that 7-1 streak. Is that what it looked like to you, Trent, if you pull those 3 losses out a little bit?
I did. I agree. I think part of this, too, is that the Broncos went back to doing what Tim Tebow was comfortable with.
Right.
And they went to what Tim Tebow was comfortable with, and then he had guys make plays. You know, as quarterbacks, whether you're Tim Tebow, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, you need your friends to be friendly. And I thought that was a key thing in this game, is you're talking about Tim Tebow's receivers making plays. Conversely, Ben Roethlisberger's did not. They could not get open early on. Right here, you have an isolation matchup outside. This is early in the game when the Pittsburgh Steelers can really grab hold of this game. Now you go to Tim Tebow. Great throw down the boundary, but look at Demaryius Thomas make the great catch. Bring it in. Eddie Royal, the great move. Getting to the sideline here on the little post-fake fade, and he brings in the tough catch. All day long, Tim Tebow doing a great job, but Demaryius Thomas working open right there versus Ike Taylor, who he just had ownage on all day long, bringing home the ball, and then working after the catch. I mean, Tim Tebow played great football today, not taking anything away from him, but his playmakers stepped up in a huge way when Ben Roethlisberger's did not early in the game.
Well, what I was going to say, also, I think that you saw the kind of pressure that this offense that Trent is talking about, the things that Tim does best, that he can put on you as a defense when you don't see it all the time. When you're not looking, you know, at that option on a week-to-week basis, James Harrison, who may be the most aggressive player in the National Football League, was put in limbo as you watch the course of this football game. As you watched him, he approaches this edge. Now here, he's just going to back up. He's moving around. This is a great job of extending the play. This is what we're looking at right here. But then delivering the ball right on target. And I'll say this. Troy Polamalu, who likes to improvise and maybe is one of the great improvisers in the history of football at the safety position, finds himself unable to do that and make the defense be successful because Ryan Clark is absent from his position. That's what allows oftentimes Troy Polamalu to do what he does because he knows that Ryan Clark is going to be behind him, taking care of that area in which he leaves a void. Now here's James Harrison. This is what I was talking about initially. Look at James. He caught in limbo. He doesn't know whether the ball's being handed off inside or whether it's going outside.
There's no doubt, Tom. I think people really need to understand the conflict this read option puts the defense in. Whether the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kansas City Chiefs, doesn't matter who you are. This is so new to the league.
That's right.
And when you're in the shotgun and you put that ball in the belly of the back, that defense has to respond. The only way I could explain it is if you took a traditional quarterback and he goes play action, it puts pressure on the defense because it's a second reaction mode for the defense.
That's correct.
But now with Tim Tebow as a runner, pass becomes third reaction mode. It's run to the running back, then it's run the quarterback. That's two reactions defense have to play on. Third reaction becomes pass. It's tremendous conflict that defenses are trying to adjust to with Tim Tebow, an established runner at the quarterback position.
And again, we should remind everyone this is not just any defense. I know it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were the stingiest defense in yards all year. They have Dick LeBeau, who's in the Hall of Fame, and we joke, I mean, it's going to be a tough trip home, especially for that defense. But Dick LeBeau, when he came in, in the late 50s with the Lions, maybe he saw the offense. Again, I'm not trying. But this is not any defense that they even confused, to your point, Trent, that, you don't see it. Yeah, but this is Pittsburgh. Yeah, but it still worked then because he's a much better passer or passed better than did 4 to 6 weeks ago. I think that's a very
That's the point, right? Boom. You have hit the point. That's the option, the ride action that you give as you fake that handoff, keeping the ball sometimes and going outside. If Tim Tebow can do this, off of that action, back up and throw the ball as well as he threw it today, you talk about putting the defense in conflict about what they want to do. You start bringing people up to the line of scrimmage. I think that's why the depth of the passes was so, it's 30, 40 yards down the football field because everybody is drawn up trying to stop that run action, and all of a sudden you find guys behind you who are very talented. He'll hit all that all the time. Over 300 yards on 10 completions. It's pretty amazing.
You know who's happy about it? Broncos head coach John Fox at the podium.
Injuries on the game. Eric Decker had a fairly significant knee injury. I don't know the exacts of it at this point. Left the game, did not return, but it did appear to be fairly significant. Any questions?
What do you think of the new overtime rules?
I don't think they came into too much effect. So, no, it was it was a very hardly fought game. Both sides. I have the utmost respect for Mike Tomlin, the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. And that was a great football game.
This is the first time your offense has really clicked in against the best defense in football. What did you guys do different to make that work? How did it come to fruition?
Well, I don't think it's the first time our offense has clicked in. So I beg to differ with that. I thought the timing was great. We had struggled over the last couple weeks, and I think a lot of that progress was because of our quarterback. A lot was said, a lot was written, been a lot of critique on him, and I thought he stepped up in a huge way tonight, and I think it was a big part of us winning the game. Again, we're a little bit unique in what we do offensively. It takes us a little bit to adjust, and once we were able to see what Pittsburgh was doing, we were able to make those adjustments. And at the end of the day, it's players making plays, and we over the last few weeks into the playoffs, we didn't make as many plays as we did on that 7-1 run. And we need to capture that in the bottle, and we did tonight, and I thought that was a big reason why we were successful. I don't think we reinvented the wheel by any stretch. I think we just executed much better, and at the end of the day, that's what this game comes down to.
You went to a lot of 2 and 3 tight ends. What do you think?
Well, we had some of that kind of in for that reason. They've got very big, physical outside linebackers, and you know, to get some matchups that we felt were more favorable to us, we put in offensive tackles.
What was the thinking on your first call?
Yeah, it's a play we ran earlier in the night. I think you know, we had a pretty good tendency of running on 1st and 10. You know, they utilized some zero blitz stuff, and you know, I think we executed in that situation.
Talk about the coach, plan McCoy had. You're going against a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator, Dick LeBeau, and it looked like you got him the deep ball.
Well, I think at the end of the day, with all due respect for Dick, and I've known him and Mike McCoy, this game's still about players. And you know, I thought our players did a terrific job, and our coaches did too. Everybody in that locker room did a great job. But you know, the players are the ones between those lines, and they made it happen.
Well, as everybody predicted, the game would go to overtime, and there would be an overtime record for the longest reception in the history of overtime in the NFL, and it would obviously be Tim Tebow to Demaryius Thomas. There is a full moon out. You could go on and on 80 yards. By the way, John Fox was the coach of the old one, Steve Smith, in '03 from Jake Delhomme. Just thought we'd throw that in there as well. And so this winning play, wait a minute, Trent, though. They get the ball, it's at the 20. We're going to run it, right? We're going to run it.
Exactly, and that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers think.
Absolutely.
And when you're in the shotgun with Tim Tebow, and he's standing back there, and there's a back next to him, this goes what Tommy and I are talking about, the conflict this offense put the defense in. First down means run. So what do? You put the ball in the belly. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Comes completely up defending the run because that's the information given to them pre-snap. Now, the other element to this is that the Steelers lose post-safety help. That means there's nobody in the middle of the field. They added that post-safety and brought him down around the line of scrimmage. This is what some people think the answer is to defending Tim Tebow. The problem with that is it becomes a pick-and-stick, 7-on-7, no-pressure passing game. You literally, I have high school quarterbacks with receivers that open that can deliver the ball. And I think that's what we need to look at here, Tommy, and I know you believe it too. It's that with this quarterback and this offense and him an established runner, he's never going to have to see the same complex looks the other NFL quarterbacks see.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason that John Elway, and I think, you know, it kind of goes in concert with what you saw. He gave Tim a little nudge.
Yep.
And the nudge was, and I think he meant it in the best way for Tim Tebow. I need you to take shots, deliver the football, show me you can do this, because we can see maybe where there's a future of you being able to run this offense at the line of scrimmage, put these defenders close to the line of scrimmage. I mean, by the time that ball is completed, Troy Polamalu is about 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. There is no chance of anybody to catch Demaryius Thomas as he's going down the field. Everybody's in chase mode because, as Trent said, they believed wholeheartedly that they were looking at run and run formation.
And the difference, John Fox said, it was execution. Because when you turn on the coach's tape, what you see every week Tim Tebow plays is wide open receivers. Wide open by NFL standards.
That's right.
Because so much attention, there's so much devoted to stopping this offense that everybody's trying to figure out with him in the gun, handing off, read option, whatever you want to call it, that they expose themselves in the back half. And when you're exposed like that, if you can be any type of passer whatsoever, this is the potential for the passing yards out there.
Bottom line, the majority of teams on the first play in overtime don't throw a ball that could go a long way. I didn't say a touchdown necessarily. They don't throw a route that's designed to go 25 or 30. I don't think they do. Not the first play. I don't care what kind of offense you get. Even I just don't think you do it. And that's why the Broncos are moving on. And the Steelers are surprisingly, as defending AFC champs, moving home. When we return, plenty more on this game. The Pittsburgh side for sure. More on the Denver side, moving into New England. Oh, by the way, the Giants, they may be rolling. We'll have that game, too. And first play, scrimmage, overtime. Broncos win toss. The only way you can win on one possession is to throw it, is to score a touchdown, which Tim Tebow and Demaryius Thomas did the longest ever in overtime in NFL history, 80 yards. Tim Tebow at the podium.
I don't know if I felt, extra pressure from it. I knew it was a big game. We had a great week of practice. We practiced hard, and I felt we had a great game plan, and we were playing, a very good Pittsburgh Steelers team. And, they came out and they played hard, and we played hard, and it was a great game. And, I'm very thankful that we were able to get the win. And, first and foremost, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He's done so much in my life, and I also want to thank my teammates for the effort that they put out there, and just showing so much character, whether it's good, whether it's bad, all year. And then our coaches who, every game, constantly, whether I'm doing good or bad, stick with me, and so I'm very appreciative of that.
Did you understand the overtime rule going into it?
Yeah, Coach Fox actually went over it with us Wednesday or Thursday, and so, I'm pretty sure I knew it before then, but he went over it with the whole team as well, so it was good he did. I'm just very thankful for the platform that God has given me and the opportunity to be a quarterback for, the Denver Broncos. What a great organization. And, it is special to have the platform of playing football, because I have an opportunity to affect people. And, I was very excited to have Bailey now up here at this game. And this is a girl, football is amazing. We love it. We're so passionate about it, as you could see right there. But, the real win, at least I would say today, is being able to comfort a girl who's gone through 73 surgeries before the game and get a chance to go hang out with her now. And that's the biggest win of the day. And so they're both exciting, but that's what I'm even more proud of.
Last play of the game, what were you thinking, what you saw, and what you thought after you saw what happened?
Well, it was a great call, first of all. It's something that we had ran earlier in the game, and to stop some of our zone read stuff, they were bringing the safeties, playing like a blitz zero look, but not blitzing the backers inside. And it was a great call by Coach McCoy, and we wanted to try to get DT in there, behind the safeties blitzing, and he did a great job getting off the corner and just waited till it passed the second window from the backer and just tried to fit it in there, and he made a great catch and a great run after the catch, and offensive line block phenomenal. And it was also a great call because I think it was a pretty good fake, so Willis really sold it and the line sold it, so he couldn't get a lot of pressure as well, and DT made a heck of a play. Do what? When I saw him scoring, first of all, thank you, Lord, and then I was running pretty fast chasing him like I could catch up to DT. And, then I just jumped in the stands. First time I've done that, but that was fun. And then just got on a knee, thank the Lord again, and try to celebrate with my teammates and the fans.
Could you talk about how you were able to get so many big plays in areas and a lot of times just one receiver out there?
Well, I think a lot of different guys stepped up and made big plays, including, DT, and, he just did a great job. I think the coaches coached him up well this week on how to attack the corners and giving them a lot of different looks with splits, with timing, with the different play actions, double moves, and he did a great job with it and just made a bunch of big plays.
How much did you have to do with this week's game?
I think this week for us it was just having a great week of practice and coming out here trying to execute, and the coaches always do a great job, and it was just based on us players and especially me that I just needed to play better.
What's the difference between the last 3-4 weeks when you did struggle throwing the ball and today you threw the ball beautifully? What happened?
Yeah, I just think we executed a little bit better. We just tried to step up. We knew that it's win or go home, and this team wanted to fight, and we wanted to get play another game. Just tried to go out there and play hard, play fast, and be aggressive, and trust my teammates and trust the line, trust the receivers, and give them opportunities, and they make me look a lot better than I really am.
Well, it is amazing, and it keeps going on. The shortest overtime, regular or postseason ever. That would be ever. That would be 11 seconds, and it's by the time the refs and announcers tried to explain the new overtime rule, it became a moot point because it was a touchdown. So we still don't know how it's going to really work because they got a touchdown, right? If you think about that, we still don't know how it's going to work.
I glanced at.
Well, I know we know how it's going to work, but we don't know what kind of drama you're going to have.
Well,
touchdown wins, they won.
I just know that I glanced at the tube and Boom yelled, "He's gone!" and I saw Demaryius Thomas running down the field, and I was like, "So what just happened?" And then we said it's over. And so, yeah, I mean, but that's what can happen when you gain confidence in the guy pulling the trigger. I can't say enough about the confidence that they had to start that overtime with that route, with that guy, Tim Tebow, throwing the football with the idea of what could happen.
You know, you're right. We turn around, Demaryius Thomas running down the field to win the game, and obviously so many storylines around Tim Tebow for the last, 13, 14 weeks. I just thought of another one that blows my mind. Who drafted Tim Tebow and Demaryius Thomas? Josh McDaniels. Josh's first game with the New England Patriots.
Oh my goodness.
Against
Tim
Tebow
goodness.
and Demaryius Thomas, the two guys that just torched the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
This thing never ends.
Who beat the New England Patriots up pretty bad.
Well, the Steelers did, and of course the Patriots. The Patriots, we'll get on to that. The Patriots, of course, just a few weeks ago beat the Denver Broncos pretty bad after trailing 9-0 after Denver ran for 167 in the first quarter, but then it was a going away process the other way for New England. Look, we can't let the defending AFC champ, the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is not a violin or anything else, but one by one. I mean, they were losing players left and right. We said it a little bit during the highlights. The Ben Roethlisberger, we could debate should he, shouldn't have been playing the last 3-4 weeks. We'll never know. Ben will never know. I think he might have been hurt toward the end of the game, and then we're in the second half against Cleveland. Additionally, I don't really know that. That's just a thought. You know, they played without their Pro Bowl center, Pouncey. Needless to say, Mendenhall was hurt, the running back. He was gone, although Redmond had a very big game. Ryan Clark being out because he had to. The running back coach with the horrible, with the burns and the fire. And then Kiesel went out of the game. And then Hampton went out of the game. And again, this is not Pittsburgh, by the way. You didn't hear boo from Pittsburgh on this. Because that would not be the Steelers.
That's right.
But, I mean, we even could go with Ben. I mean, at times, he's okay. Now he's not okay. Yes, he's okay. I mean, we'll never know had he sat 2 or 3 weeks and they still would have been the 5th seed.
No, and in the NFL, there's this mantra, no excuses, no excuses.
I agree.
You know what? They're reasons. They are reasons team can't play to their potential, sustain that many injuries. And I think of a boxer up against the ropes, just taking body blow after body blow after body blow. He can sustain them for a little while, but ultimately the cumulative effect of those body blows will knock him down. That's injuries to good football teams. Each good guy you lose is one more rib shot, and you can only sustain so many. So it's not an excuse for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a legitimate reason. You're talking about a team that was a shell of itself in this game with their previous injuries and the injuries sustained in-game.
Kind of had some walking wounded, quite a few, and yet, you know, they always say next man up. Well, there's a reason that the guy who's starting is starting. And I think that today the Broncos were able to take advantage of a lot of things. I also thought the Pittsburgh Steelers got a break on the backwards pass. Could have been possession to the Broncos. Instead, ended up being a score for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So a lot of things balance out, and usually the right team wins the game. I thought that today the Denver Broncos played better football than the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they move on in the playoffs.
So, again, I mean, big picture, the Broncos didn't just beat anybody in overtime. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And here's Ben Roethlisberger at the podium.
It's always disappointing. Offensively, you feel like you can do so much more, and you don't do it. Give them credit. They're a good defense. I got a good feeling. But, you know, they're a good team. You know, it's hard when they beat you and you beat yourself.
Series of regulation where he lost the ball and then he couldn't get the Hail Mary off. Was that kind of typical of the day?
Sure. You know what? We were moving it and had a shot, and someone just happened to get a finger, felt like a finger on the ball and knocked it out. And after that, it's you're trying to throw a 70-yard Hail Mary. It's going to be hard. So, you know, it is what it is. Shock. It's tough. You know, I'm just really proud of the way that a lot of guys played today. They stepped up and we played through injuries. Well, adrenaline does some crazy things, and you know, you want to be there for your guys. You want to show them it's about heart, and that's what we had. A lot of guys show a lot of heart today. It's just unfortunate that you know, we came out on the wrong end.
But when you look at your offense, guy by guy, piece by piece, do you think it added up collectively to what it should have?
Well, we feel that we've got a really great potential, you know, to be a really good offense. And I told a lot of the guys that we can be great. We just have to put in the work in the off season. You know, and a lot of that's going to fall on me, getting the guys together. And you know, we're young. We got to try and stay healthy, and you know, we'll see what happens.
Negative message to the receivers in the locker room.
One of them. So Ben Roethlisberger and his Steelers have been to Super Bowls 3 times now in the last 7 years, but they're out. Tim Tebow and the Broncos moving on, and so are the New York Football Giants, the early game at the moment. Tom Jackson, Trent Dilfer, Wild Card Sunday, the first ever playoff game, either team now, at the new Meadowlands. The New York Football Giants trying to rekindle memories of 2007 at home against the Atlanta Falcons. And here we go with Eli Manning, and, well, would they get going? They have lately. They've been staunch, and Jason Snelling of the Falcons up the middle cannot get a first down at the end of the first quarter. So Mike Smith said, this is different. This year is different. We're going to be able to win battles in the trenches, and on 4th and inches, no! Matt Ryan up the middle in a scoreless game, and they're short of a first down. A recurring theme, Tom Coughlin's defense standing tall. Giants second, 22 at their own 12. And wait a minute, James Sanders, the one-time Patriot, picked up by the Falcons for the start of the year, comes up, and it's going to be a safety.
Yeah, and really Eli's only flaw, he doesn't trust his protection. McKenzie's there to pick up the safety. Eli could step up into a soft pocket, possibly make a play. Instead, he doesn't trust it. He tries to escape to his right, runs in to the safety, but really one of Eli's only flaws all day long.
And so Mike Smith says we're up 2-0. They'll never come back. They'll never come back from 2-0. Maybe they would. Brandon Jacobs, I told you, he's like the Flintstone mobile. Once the feet get going and he goes forward, he's a monster at 34 yards. 3rd and 1 at the Falcons 6. Jacob, and it's short of the first down. Eli Manning says, hey, Coach, we just got just a little bit. Falcons couldn't get it. Would the Giants get it? Guess who's going to get the ball, Tom?
Brandon Jacobs.
Really? 1 yard first down. So the next play from the 4, Eli Manning, Zeton, Hakeem Nicks, and now it's the G-Man. They're up 7-2. That's the score at the half. 3rd and 8 Giants. Now 3rd and 8, okay? Keep this in mind. Eli to Nicks, 19 yards, Giants first down. 3rd and 12. Some pressure. Good step up, and just as he's hit Victor Cruz, 22 yards, first down. Next play, Ahmad Bradshaw picks a hole, and whoop, there he goes down the sideline of the 5, 30 yards. 3rd and goal, Manning looking for Nick's. Good play there by Chris Owens. Nix wants pass interference, not going to get it, though, fellas.
Yeah, I thought it was a good play. Nix was facing the ball. Owens came up behind him. A great job of getting the arm around and knocking the ball down.
So Atlanta holds up to a field goal, 10-2 now. Ryan to Roddy White. Short of a first again at 14. 4th and 1. But we got to get one of these, right? Mike Smith figures it so. At the Giants 21. No! They don't get it. Where's Michael Turner? Where is he? Ryan does not get it. Matty Ice is iced. 3rd and 3, Giants. And now your defense is seeing your team get nothing for you, and it's going to happen. Bobbing, weaving, gone. Manning to Nicks, 72 yards. He caught 6 for 2 touchdowns. $115, 17-2. Thank goodness Dale Murphy had a 2-run homer. Now, 3rd and 1, his own 28. Michael Turner. Well, there he is. He didn't get it either. 3rd and 1, nothing. Now the Giants, 3rd and long, 3rd and 7, 4th quarter. I mean, it's still 2 scores, 17-2. And a dump off to Bradshaw, and it's 19 yards. So now this defense is just out there, and Manning to Mario Manningham. Between two defenders, 27 yards, Trent.
And guys, this is the primetime dime. Why? Because this is primetime, the show you two pioneered. And that, my friends, is the definition of a dime. Primetime dime.
I got it now. Look more like at least a silver dollar for a touchdown, all right? And there the quarterback saying, you know, good job. But at 24-2, Eli Manning with the no turnovers and the 3 touchdowns. And the Atlanta Falcons, I mean, are you kidding me? They got 2 points. A shutout would have even been better. They got 2.
That's right. You're right.
It would have been
Right,
better.
right.
They got 2, and they are in a full head-scratch mode. But the Giants moving on now to play the Pack, and when have we seen that before? So now, Tommy, the New York Football Giants, okay?
Yeah.
Well, they can't run the ball, right?
Last in the league. No, number
not what we
32
just-
as we get the wild card.
And it drives you nuts.
It is the reason that I thought they could not go far in the playoffs. But as you watch this game today, 31 carries, 172 yards, and Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw provided the Giants with exactly what they needed. And more importantly, what Eli Manning needed. Once you get running like this, now the offensive line can provide a clean pocket for the quarterback. I mean, it was just great balance. This is what they were in 07 when they went the distance and won the Super Bowl. The holes created, the seams created downfield, big plays, 20-plus yards in the run game. They had more than a few of them today. If they can continue to do that, you know, who knows how far they could go.
They got guys on that line that have done it.
Guys who can play.
Who can run, and they get guys who can play some defense.
Absolutely. The Giants on defense, they can get after you. They can just wreak havoc on the passer. And in today's rules of football, you can wreak havoc on the passer. You can neutralize some of these explosive passes.
Even just with 4 guys. Now, Atlanta, man, they talk about a recurring theme for them this year. It's one of the reasons they didn't win the division, although the Saints are unreal at the moment. And one of the reasons that they couldn't stay in this game, Trent.
It's a history. Today was a reflection of their history. And this is a box score. This tells you all the yards a team gets rushing. My philosophy on box scores in the running game is they don't mean squat. You are what you are as a running team in must-run situations. And the Falcons can run the ball on 1st and 2nd down all you want, look really good doing it. This is their history. Today was a reflection of their history. 4th and inches. Can't get an inch. Can't get an inch because this is who they are. Again, can't convert a 4th and short. Now, this is not a just today thing for the Atlanta Falcons. This happened, signature moment this season against New Orleans Saints. They couldn't convert on a 4th down overtime. Gave the New Orleans Saints the ball. And you look at teams and what their personality is, and any great competitor, any great leader from all time will tell you, you are what you are in the most difficult moments in life. Well, in football, the most difficult moment is that half a yard when they know you're running, you know they're running, I know they're running, everybody knows they're running, go get it. This is who the Falcons are.
There's some teams built to win 16 games, not to win 16 games, but to get in the playoffs in a 16-game season. And at the moment, the Atlanta Falcons are a nice team that's made it 3 of the last 4 years. But unfortunately, they have no right moving on. They should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, that you give the Giants complete credit today. Because a front 4 in this day and age, that's like the fearsome support.
It's great.
But you gotta be able to man up here against the best teams in football. And to the moment, the Falcons haven't yet figured that out. The Giants sure have. They've manned up against all the Ryans. The Rex Ryan, the Rob Ryan, the Matt Ryan, and maybe Nolan Ryan will be next week. I don't know. That'll be the Packers.